Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 61 of Orchid Bay. Hope you're having a wonderful day. A pretty special occasion for this city today. I asked you guys on a community poll, which ended at a nice 69% in favour. 81 tiles being opened up in Orchid Bay. And I'm really happy that you guys chose to do this because I'm really happy to keep building in this city. By far and away my vanilla magnum opus, and still so many more projects to do. So we're going to be doing a lot of networking today, connecting highways together, highway rest stops, roundabouts, and bringing in some dead arterial connections that were left at the end of 25 tiles. So let's open 81 tiles in Orchid Bay, shall we? And continue our favourite vanilla city. So welcome everyone to the first time to an 81 tiled Orchid Bay. Of course, I voted for by you guys. This series will continue now past its 25 tile boundaries. So I hope you're all excited for that. And you know, one day we're going to be able to build out here and have that super distant view right all the way to everything we built over the last 9 months or so, nearly 10 months now actually. But there's some really interesting spaces of the map that I've now opened up, and there's a little lake in the mountains over here. I think I'm definitely feeling more rural towns. I definitely wouldn't expect Orchid Bay to be as dense as it is over these areas, purely because I want to keep the outer-lying areas more rural, sprawling towns. But also, we're also at 71% of the node count now, so we can't be as dense as we have been because the city won't be able to be finished. But we will manage it to the best of our abilities. There's a whole bunch of space over by Imperator's Air Force Base. Even these kind of cargo yard looking things, or the shipping container yard, kind of looks like it's opened up now, doesn't it? So we do already have a shipping port, so let me know what you think should lie over here. Not sure, but there's a whole bunch of possibilities that are now available with 81 tiles available to us. So again, ideas down in the comments below for what you would like to see as Orchid Bay now expands into these spaces. But today what I wanted to do is bring together these two highways over here, do a highway rest stop along this road as well, alongside just general network prep as we now begin to play with these larger areas. So I want to kind of follow the British road hierarchy system here. I want to connect these two highways together with a road, but I don't want it to be another highway or another motorway as we would refer to it in Britain. I want it to be essentially what you would refer to as a national A road, essentially is what we would call it in England and the UK anyway. So we have like our 3-lane motorways, sometimes 4, 5 or 6 lane, but then we also have what most people would call a dual carriageway, and that's what I want to connect these two highways with. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we're right on the edge of the map here, and I think we're going to have this dual carriageway run alongside this river, eventually connecting into a new town that's going to lie around this landmass over this way, and then connect back in with the highway with another interchange over this side. So let's get started. I think because of just where we are with that little playing party going on in the corner. If anyone ever wondered how people arrived into Orchid Bay, here you go. They cluster up together and fuse into a plane, and then they all take off from here. Thank God the outside connections are a little better in cities too, right? But over here I want to do a little trumpet interchange, so that is what we'll get started with today. So let's go ahead and start preparing our curves. We'll do some dirt road frames first of all to get this thing set up. Let's come out from here, come along by 240 and back in, and then we'll bring this over the top. So this is a Imperator design. Again, we haven't seen it. That wonderful German engineer has always given us more interchange designs to get on board with. So we'll draw out some frames to help snap our trumpet interchange together. Let's grab our highway ramp, and we want to use our curve tool to just hit the guidelines. And that's going to create a nice simple semicircles for us to get on board with. And then we want to match that circle again just by hitting the guidelines on the extra road length. Then it'll all come together so you have something that looks a little bit like that. So let's get this side in first of all. We'll probably come in about here, so I'm not playing with a perfectly straight highway. Let's come in for about here. I'll just go onto our angle snap for this one. There we go. and then guideline and curve will see everyone home. Fantastic. Have this come in like that. Then we can remove these semicircle frames now. And I'll bring, again, just no guideline for this initial slip road. Bring it off to about there, close so we can get it to that highway. Back to the guideline and the curve, and then we'll connect in like so. And then we can delete these over here again too. So I think I will come over the highway here for this particular interchange and actually embank on the other side, because we're pretty flat out here. Although I guess there is there's actually a mountain next to us. But we probably won't actually build about here because we have the map fog over this way, and it's just not going to be very pleasant, I think, to spend time out this way, so we won't end up this far out at least, but we'll see what happens. Also, I'm desperate to do kind of a mountaintop research facility at some point using the deep space radar and weather research station assets, so look out for that one coming soon. So let's create a little embanked landmass here for which the dual carriageway will land on this side of the interchange at least. Let's make sure we are level with the interchange here as well though, so we can cross over properly. There we go. Let's go into road length here, and then we'll just elevate up by 3 steps, no guideline either. Just want to get as close to that highway as we can, which should be about there. That's not going to be too bad, I don't think. Let's bring our highway roads over here. We'll go for a distance of 520 at that same level. Bring it across there. And then we will bring these land masses up a little bit. Soften that area out. And then we'll come down the smallest amount that we can. Which would be, let's do a little ramp of 200 as we touch back down to earth. We'll extend these out by 210 either side, I guess. That should give us enough room to arrange the slip ramps at least. I definitely want this to be kind of a riverside one, so I want to kind of meander it over this side eventually. I guess that tree line is a good place to hug it against, isn't it? Also got more cool runes out here too. And also possibly another Warhammer inspired park as well, because we've got kind of a Zinch looking eye over here, so maybe a park dedicated to the Lord of Change. Because of course we've already done Slanesh and Nurgle across Nubioke and Orchid Bay. Cool. So this is alright for right now. Let's go ahead and start to meander these roads where I want them to head. So that general direction is going to be okay, I think. And we'll match up with those road guidelines with the freeform tool and keep them parallel for the most part, at least until we get some land formation or whatever. I like to try and keep respecting Sidai's highway designs here. He's very creative with his sort of, you know, highway roads. They're not always hugging like they are in pretty much every CS vanilla map. They, you know, bend and sort of meander around the landscape. So I really like how this looks. So trying to respect some of Sidai's ideas as well. What is his map after all? Cool. So let's give the ramps here. Let's go for pretty much the same place there, I imagine. And we'll slope this up so we can get a nice smooth ramp. And then we'll have this come out from that same node right there. Again, we just want to do angle and a manual curve as tight as we can. Delicious. It looks like one happy curve there on 900 is actually going to give us a pretty sensible curve up there, is it? Maybe we want to do it slightly tacked on there so the entrance onto the interchange is a little nicer. And then at this point we can move up to 2-lane, and then this will become my sort of dual carriageway road, right? This will carry on now as a 2-lane road rather than 3-lane, and we can use that kind of, I guess, British road hierarchy system is what I'm going to refer to it as today anyway. Cool, and then we'll slope this down as well now so that second ramp can complete the trumpet. And now we've just got this pretty cute rural service interchange that'll do us a job. So they're too close to be perfectly parallel together here, but that's okay. If we come off of all of our snap-ins, we can have it just start to widen out about there, I think. And then we'll do the same again with this one. Sort of eye them up. Yeah, that's what I want, and then we'll configure them in a second. Let's go ahead and get this final ramp put in. Snap to angle again as we come down. Again, let's see if we can go for that exit ramp first on the bridge. Seems a good place to do it. And then we'll get a curve and a road guideline together. Cool. And that should complete our trumpet interchange to flow over this way now. This way as well. And then we can do some quick lane maths around this area too. We drop down to 2 lane as we come under the interchange to help force the turning lane on this side. There we go. Wonderful news. And then that should be fine going back in there as well, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Cool. So now let's create this slope for these new roads to come down. Go for a fairly wide angle here. Try and blend this little lump of land back into the landscape a little bit more. There we go. Cool. So let's start with our right hand road. And this one's gonna meander over this way. And I want to bring it by this river. We'll keep it going this way here. Be interested to know as well, because I'm going to constantly refer to this as a dual carriageway. What would you call this sort of road in your country, I wonder? I think definitely the British viewers amongst us will know this as a dual carriageway, but interested to know what you guys call it. Cool, so let's keep this going, and I want to connect somewhere around here, because there's also a little road coming out of Sharon here as well that could be hooked into potential interchanges over this way. I think actually there's an interchange right near me on the M6 motorway in the UK that would actually be perfect for the connections that are going to converge here. It's a very popular UK roundabout, or UK interchange. It's like an elevated roundabout above the motorway. You find them all over the UK. It's a pretty popular way to get on and off the highway. So I imagine we'll use something similar to that. So again, I'd like to prepare a little bit of an embankment here to prepare that interchange, and that should be enough, I think. That looks pretty tall enough. Yeah, so let's use our wide brush here. And I want to push this all up against the sides of the motorway. And we'll have this run up to the river. Don't want to destroy the shape of the river, but I do indeed want it to be at this same height over here. Is that the same height there, is it? Yeah, I guess that side of the river's a little bit lower down, isn't it? Which is actually tremendously helpful for getting that layer or that road to come straight across. Yes, please, everyone. Let's put road length on while we're at the bridge. And we'll stick to a unit of 20. That will give us the suspension arches. I just think we could actually upgrade to industrial road at this point to get some different truss supports. Don't think I'd be totally against that. I think it's a little more realistic for an area like this, isn't, than having suspension arches, I guess. I'm not entirely sure, but I think we'll go with the industrial roads for right now. And then we'll bring this one down right now. We'll mimic that back in a second. I just want to get connected up to the highway here at the minute. Cool. So let's have this. Something like that's going to be quite good. Bring these two roads parallel with each other now. So I want this road from Sharon to come down, so let's grab that 4-lane road that's coming out of the town. Again, we'll prepare a landmass to accept it. Let's go for here at this point. Slope up, and try and blend it back in. Don't want those layers to look too unnaturally terraformed, you know. Let's make sure we use the same 4-lane road here though, that would be helpful, wouldn't it? I guess, does this need to be 4-lane? Probably not, I don't think. It'll probably just be a 2-lane, can't it? Yeah. Yeah, it can. Probably even a national road, actually. I don't think there's going to be any builds off of this, apart from maybe a little bit of service industry. Although, speaking of 81 tiles, actually having 81 tiles is going to make using every asset in the game a lot easier now, because we'll have a lot more room to play with, a lot more excuses to build. So I want a roundabout here now. Again, taking inspiration from the interchange that's actually near me in real life, not to give away the location of Egg, but I'll show it on Google Earth if you're interested. We'll drop in a pre-made roundabout. This is pretty much the size that I need. Of course, we want to brace it so it doesn't warp out of shape. That should be fine there. Got those 2-lane highways, and we'll feed it into there at a cost of 550, although I do not like that angle though. So the interchange I want to build here, I've never actually attempted in cities, so we'll see how it goes. But again, I'll leave up some of my inspiration from Google Earth here today as to what sort of design well, I've got in mind anyway. So we'll have our 4-lane arterial come here. Oh look, we have people arriving to Sharon. Wonderful. There you go, they are using it. Although, we need to delete the bracing on the roundabout though. There you go, that's what I like to see, isn't it? Wonderful news. How many people are coming off, I wonder? So back to the interchange. Yeah, there's a few of them. Not horrendously busy, which is good. But again, remember, all this is going to serve to take pressure off of these interchanges down here. Of course, the main interchange to Orchid Bay as well. Should get a little bit quieter thanks to this dual carriageway now. Fantastic. Cool, anyway. Distracted by my own highway networks. So let's do... Can we get away with 5 here, I wonder? Yes, we can. So we can do 5 at that side. We'll also do it at this one as well. Linking them up with their guidelines. So this is where we want to elevate now to pass over the motorway. So we'll do 620, should hopefully get over there. And we'll make sure we leave enough room on the other side of the highway for those pillars to land as well. So we'll do 1240, hopefully. Seems like a pretty sensible distance to go to. We'll do that same measurement repetition over here as well. And that's just a case of repeating them now. So we'll come down back to earth by 620, hopefully. Let's again just rearrange that landmass to do so. That should be alright. What was that distance? 620. There we go. So repeat that. And then it's a case of doing 5 deep curves, isn't it? And that should give us the general premise of these roundabouts that we get quite a lot in the UK. And then we want to slope up from here now, so we can get some ramps arriving at those nodes up here. It's also forest brush a little bit as well, so we can see what's going on. And then yeah, we really want to snap off at a 90-degree angle here. And then here we'll snap off at a 90-degree angle. And we'll use dirt roads for this first of all, because the highway roads don't like to be finagled at awkward angles. So I'll do that there. That seems pretty sensible to me. Let's make sure we're pushed up here as well, and then soften that a little bit. Don't want it to be too much half cliff texture there. And then let's also slope this side out too. Too much soil a little bit, and then it'd be tremendous if we could come out of this same angle here. There we go, yes we can. And then same deal over this side too. We'll get these other directions hooked in now. Fabulous, and now we can upgrade these into the highway roads. Everyone should be pretty okay here. We'll do some lane maths as well here. So in the UK we don't get the lane maths on the bottom, it carries on as a 3-lane motorway. So I think I will leave the bottom as 3-lane. I don't think we need to change that really. But I do want to add a couple of 2-lane highways up at the top of the roundabout here, if people want to sort of, you know, go different directions around the roundabout, then indeed they can once they arrive at the top. And then this road here can now be another 4-lane that comes down. We'll again prepare the landmass to hold it. But this general direction is what I'm after. And then this can now come down toward the coast, and indeed the train line too, as it now arrives at the coastline to continue on at the coastal areas of Orchid Bay. Now as we continue to develop this out, because of course the downtown couplet kind of veers off here and rejoins the motorway. So again, it's a connection over here, isn't it, that we can now provide, which we will do. Okay, it's going to make our new interchange active too, also providing more connectivity for this industrial traffic that's on the outer edge of Sharon. So we'll go for that. Looks like we've got some stupid train AI, but they should be okay. I imagine this won't be a level crossing once we properly develop this area, but of course it's all framework for right now. I also mentioned that I'd love to build a highway rest stop as well, part of today's episode, a little stopping point along here. Now I guess we could also do it close to the motorway here, but I feel like we're going to do different things this close to the highway, so I'd rather leave these spaces to be developed down the line. So I think maybe a little kind of a rest point, maybe, if you are taking the dual carriageway back out, you need to sort of pull over maybe before you get back on the motorways to leave Orchid Bay to, I don't know, maybe Palawan is down there, or I guess Berguzia is the closest city on the OE map to Orchid Bay, isn't it? So maybe a little highway rest stop somewhere along here perhaps might be pretty cool. So let's do that. I wonder how many of you were screaming at my directions here. Everyone. There we go. That's how it should be configured, shouldn't it? My apologies, I did notice that eventually. No, now it should work. So let's build a little highway rest stop configuration here. First of all, we're going to grab some of our one-way regular roads. We'll go without sidewalks as well, because I don't want people parking on them. So it's our road guideline, and we'll line it up with this one right here. So let's go for 1360 for right now, and then can we just come in at a nice sensible angle here? 280, is that going to please me? I think it is. I think we can get on board with that one. We'll do 360 over there, right, once I snap to that node. And then really, obviously we want quite a bit of car parking around here, so let's allow that to happen. We'll stick with these roads. And I know the exact asset I want to spawn in here, so let's actually see if we can get that spawning in at first, although are we on an elevation change here? Yes we are, of course we are. Okay, let's move a little further down from that elevation because I want this to be pretty flat, so let's go for here instead. And then I want it to be a 4x3 commercial, and it's the little kind of car wash thing, you know. You've definitely used it in Orchid Bay before. It's this asset over here. I think I know exactly where we've had a specific asset selection before. It's on the way out of Karen. This one right here. This is that one I want to come in. So we'll hopefully have that spawn in not too long, because it's kind of like a little petrol station. If you are playing with the Modern Japan content creator pack, a lot of their assets work really nicely for highway rest stops. I've just run out of them now. I don't really have any left to use, but they're very nice if you do have some available or are playing with mods as well. And then you can get them there. Cool, so I'll leave some spaces either side of it and hopefully let that grow up. And then of course, lots of car parking is a pretty sort of staple of a highway rest stop, isn't it? So let's grab our car parks if I can find them. There we go. And if we just do... yeah, that should be enough, I think, although I've just realised I'm still using the one-way variants of these wide sidewalk roads, so let's change that up. And then I think we'll have one more there, and then we'll just box these in with those roads. Pretty simple design here for highway rest stops, nothing overly complex. I'd also love a fast food restaurant in here as well, maybe like one of the Burger Bites or the Pancakes International, which I can't remember what size they are. But we'll have a few different commercial sizes coming in. We'll see what grows up. Anything special here? I don't mind that actually, you know. I'm pretty sure it's a level 2 asset I'm actually after, isn't it? So we'll let them level up a little. That one's not horrendous either. I don't mind the little Morello's ice cream there. I think it might be historical, that one. And that's a Burger Bite, that's perfect. Absolutely wonderful. We'll have the Burger Bite in there too. So we'll also have a similar setup on the other side. And I'd love to develop a little pedestrian crosswalk that connects the two stops together. So again, we'll come back and grab that one-way road with sidewalks. We'll go for, again, line up with the guidelines first of all. Go for that one and hopefully put back in at 320. And then we'll bring this one out a little further. Knock in there. And then I'll rearrange its direction. So I don't want it to be perfectly mirrored. We'll do a different design here, but again, respecting the idea of having car parking available, of course, at a highway rest stop. Let's grab those roads again, and we'll box this in. We will also move it up as well a little bit though. So let's have 2 more car parks here. Again, we'll do a bit more commercial, trying to get the assets in that we like. Now, I'd love to do something with these rooms, but I don't know if this is going to be this episode. Kind of like how we did with Fort Orchid. You know, they've got pathways here, haven't they? Like, it's kind of begging to be connected. I think if we do maybe do, because we've got more fertile land here, so if we end up doing another town, then I wouldn't be averse to having a little park on this island again, you know, like we did with, at the start of the city over here. Kind of connected it all together and put some camping down here. I think that was a really nice way to use these islands, and there's another opportunity for that, isn't there? I think that definitely needs to be tied in with the town. Because there are, although I do just want to do it because it looks really satisfying to do. There we go. Now if we just bring this one across. That. That's so much fun. really like doing that. But yeah, that should be okay. I think we'll do something with the island eventually. Again, I'm on board with the pennies. I think I'm going to be happy with that. I think a dog park as well would be welcome. Maybe if people are traveling with pets and they need to get out and let them have a walk, then they can do. We'll also do the same over here as well. That's fine, just like that. And we'll bring some boxes around the side of these to hook it all in. Same up here as well. Cool. These are two pretty cute highway rest stops over here now, aren't they? Definitely want that pedestrian bridge link in the back and too. For which I think the standard vanilla one is going to do a job, I think. Then again, the amusement park one is quite nice elevated, so maybe we'll check in with that. And I guess we'll start them from here. We'll do 162 on the descent. Cool. And then we can keep that going down there as well. And we might get some people, I guess, transitioning between the two sides. I guess we'll see. Like as well that they're not mirrored opposite as well. That's pretty cool. And maybe we can even prepare that pathway to run along the river to eventually meet up with this park over here, if indeed we do decide to build something around it. So not particularly like a maintained path, but just something of a trodden path that we could even extend actually all the way down here. I doubt anyone would use that. It's a very long way for them to walk, but we'll at least have it in. And we do now have the excuse to extend these two, I guess, rural dirt roads that come all the way out of here. Yeah, which I don't think we're going to hook into the highway rest stops, I don't think. So I'll do a bit more commercial zone around here, try and generate assets that we like. Get some varying shapes and sizes at least. Maybe one over here as well, not a too deep number. Then plenty of detail as well to be done around here, of course, during our time lapse. And that's a perfect rest stop asset actually, isn't it? With the tables on it. A car parking at the back and a trash can. Perfect highway asset, that one. Cool. So this will continue to grow up. Did we historical the burger bite? Yeah, they're fine. Let that one grow up. I don't think I want the marketplace here. And then again, do I? I think it'd be appropriate, right? Wouldn't it? Having a little marketplace here. It even says service on it. Like, it's a service stop, so I don't think I can say no to that, can I? I do still want the asset that I want though, which is that 4x3 one. So can we maybe try and bait it into spawn here? We'll see if we can. Cool. What that'll do, right? Nice little bit of highway decoration there, nothing over the top, nice and simplistic. Parking, bit of commercial. Place for the dogs to play, etc. Burned off some energy. So before we do move toward that detailed time lapse for decorating all these road networks and interchanges and whatnot, I'd love to explore the possibility of extending the train infrastructure out from Orchid Bay, because of course it's going to make sense to be able to get out to these distant areas by train, especially from the downtown transit hub, with the Karen-Sharon line that comes out this way. So let's hit our slope here, and I'd love to bring this up right up this way. Hopefully that slope isn't too obnoxious for the train, please. We'll wait and find out in the comments though, I imagine. So can we bring this off in this general direction? So this will give a bit of omnidirectionality for our train systems, which is always appreciated because it's going to allow intercity trains to take another option rather than just being limited to this one here. So we'll allow that to happen, that's okay. So we have already crossed the river here. There's a lot of garbage at Few Candies Park, isn't there? I don't know why they're taking so long to collect it. Hopefully they'll come here eventually. But anyway, yes, we have already crossed the river, so we've built the train bridge. I think it would be silly to build another one over here. We might as well just come down off of this line. And then we can also have the train converge at Sharon stop as well. Which probably merits eventually actually upgrading Sharon's train station, doesn't it, into a multi-platform? Or at least one with a bypass line. I think that's probably something we'll do as we come to develop this train line. And then, yeah, let's keep this train line going. And again, if we're going to have the town around here, crossing over the dual carriageway at this point is going to be something I want to do, I think. go for something about there. And again, I don't want this to be an elevation that runs through the countryside either, so we'll elevate some land around it and then begin to embank it against the dual carriageway here. Again, which is all going to add more decoration to our networks. All about layering, isn't it? We all know our favourite designs at this point in the series. Different changes in height make such an enormous difference in City Skylines. Let's buy some more soil. And then we want to elevate this up here, and we can see where it might also want to blend into current sort of slopes and hills that are coming off of this landmass around the national parks. So we'll factor those in as well. And now we know roughly where we're headed. This one down to earth, and it can meander in this general direction with a road guideline snapping a curve. Fabulous. Hopefully there's nothing too much going on here that's going to upset the train police. And then again we'll bring those elevations over the other side of the road. And I don't want to do too much development this side yet because I don't know what exactly this town looks like. But at least now it has a train connection that can run into and around the town of Sharon as it comes over this side of the map, and maybe create a train loop that possibly also links maybe back around this side and runs parallel with this highway to connect back into this national line over here. Kind of creating a secondary loop there now, aren't we, with the train system. So we'll really try to focus on train transport as we develop the towns and the network and the infrastructure around here. But otherwise, guys, that is a good place for a detailed time-lapse. Lots of road network to do, 2 interchanges to decorate alongside some forest work to do, and a couple of service stops, so should be a nice little fun one. Is that a nice asset? Laundromat? Would you get a laundromat of services? I guess you would, right? Just if you're like truckers, they need to do some washing. Definitely would. Definitely not a bookstore. No, you would get a bookstore. There's a WH Smith at every every service station in the UK. Are we going to level up? Are we going to get our what's it called? Little gas station thing? No. Getting a horrible vanilla asset. Leave. We'll try again. But otherwise, how's the view from here actually to the downtown? You can just see the top of those towers, can't you? Very, very far away. What's that blue thing? Oh, it's the German blue. Wondering what that was. Oh yes, anyway, let's do some detailing, and then we'll be right back. Okay guys, let's have a little detailing review, shall we? So I dropped in one of our Orchid baselines, of course, courtesy of the beautiful scope. He made the custom asset for us. And then we've done some nice detailing with the roundabout here again, kind of a grandiose path design. But interchange is flowing like a dream. Always love a nice smooth interchange, of course. Then we'll come down here toward our service interchange, where again we've been very selective with what assets have come in. We got our petrol station. Over here, the burger bite as well, dropped in one of the small playgrounds. And generally the whole landscape has been kind of tree boarded up as if maybe the old boundary lines or perhaps the edge of farmland and whatnot. So try to be quite specific here with the tree lines to kind of carve up the landscape. I think it's really helpful when you're dealing with kind of grander scale country detailing, having the tree lines. Something that you tend to find in the UK quite a lot, I'm sure other countries around the world as well. As our highway, or dual carriageway splits, we have some rocks in the middle with some of that zoo fencing, which is always a firm favourite, isn't it? And with those tree lines continuing as well as we move down here. Tree lines are really nice around here too. We were looking forward to getting our first town in here, especially at this shape of the rivers. I bet we can make quite a cool sort of geometric shape to respect the bends of the rivers here. It's a very unique landscape, that, isn't it? So it should be a lot of fun. We've also got preparing a road as well to come and enter this town via a local road rather than it only being accessible via the highway. And then of course our train line is in now, all treed up with some more fencing underneath it. And then our bridges are down here. That have been decorated up at their roundabout. Plenty of people now taking the turn down into Sharon, indeed, using that road to get back to the other highway to get out of the map, or further down this connection over here. So really nice to see the connection actually getting proper use here, which is nice. And then detailed up with some ore fencing, simple rock patterns, overgrowth, general highway interchange detailing that we've seen on the channel plenty times before. But all turned out really nicely, especially this view here as we keep moving further and further away from Orchid Bay's skyline. Otherwise guys, that is going to do it for today. Let's thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, likes, comments and shares below really do help bring more people to the channel. Equally much if you haven't enjoyed it, then please feel free to leave a dislike as well. Really excited to get into an 81 tile Orchid Bay map now. There's plenty more projects afoot, and of course this city will now run in tandem with Thessia and Cities 2. In terms of a scheduling, I think it's going to become less frequent when Cities 2 drops, just because my main priority is going to be getting CS2 content made. But we will hopefully, well, we will see Orchid Bay because it's continuing now, but it will likely drop away from being a weekly series upon the release of Cities 2. But we'll see how things pan out, of course. Depends what you guys watch. Otherwise, please do enjoy your cinematics of the networks today. I hope you found it inspiring, but I'll shut up and leave it there. Let's thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.